Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming. What you are about to see is not only a display of the talents and abilities of the drama students of the Orangeburg-Calhoun County's Arts Consortium, but also the passions and the concerns of these brilliant young people. Our showcase project is entitled The Year 2020 and a Half. It is a testament to the fact that our youth are aware of the world around them and the acknowledgement that the power to shape the world of their future lies in their hands. Today's issues and events that we as adults are plagued with have not escaped the notice of our children. These young people's desire was to use these same issues as the basis of their production. As artists from the beginning of time have done, our drama students have joined the debate of whether life imitates art or art imitates life. The expressions and opinions displayed here reflect the students' view of life in today's world. This program was a true ensemble production. The students conceived the show's concept, they wrote and co-wrote much of the text, and participated in the production element of the show, as well as performing with honor. Because of the necessity of being virtual this summer, we focused our production on video recordings. I am Karen Amos Johnson Moss. I am privileged to have the opportunity to be their drama instructor. Performing tonight are Sade Benjamin as the anchor woman, Shalea Murray as the roving reporter, Jerniah Richardson as the protest witness. Jessica Monique James is portraying the healthcare professional. And as public service announcement spokespersons, we have Jeremy Fields, Patience Miller, Destiny Scott, Jaden Wright, and Raleigh Wright. So sit back and relax with your bag of popcorn as I proudly present to you the year 2020 and a half. Thank you again for attending.
Breaking news tonight. A record rise in COVID-19 cases. The nation hits a new daily high. And so does Florida. Nearly 10,000 new cases in that state in just one day. Texas and Florida now reversing some of their reopenings. Beaches in Miami are set to close again. Arizona pushing the limits, not reversing course. Even as hospitals fill up and residents wait in line for hours in 105-degree weather waiting to get tested. Calls for justice rallies today for Elijah McClain, who died after a violent encounter with the police. The outrage after the policemen involved were reassigned to desk duty for their own protection.
Today is Friday, July 10th, 2020. This is WKART, the nightly national news with Sade Benjamin and Shalea Murray.
Good evening, America. I'm Sade Benjamin. Tonight, we have passed another milestone in this country, as today, the numbers of coronavirus cases topped 2.5 million cases. That includes 125,000 deaths. And tonight, much of the focus is on western and southern states, including South Carolina, where cases are mounting. Governors are finding themselves having to reverse reopening rules. The hospitals are filling up with patients under strict quarantine. We have reporters around the country again tonight, and we will hear from one reporter on location right after these messages from our sponsors.
My name is Raleigh Wright. As a kid in the middle of this pandemic, I know that it's hard having to stay home and follow the guidelines of all this social distancing stuff. But I'm doing it, and you should too. Here are some things you can do while staying at home. Do TikTok dances. Learning a new language. Bahawani, Akoro, Mani, Right. Read a book. Baking cookies. Going outside to get some fresh air. Get to know your family some more. FaceTime your friends and have a book club. Anything. Just stay at home and help the healthcare workers that are working to keep us all safe. For more information on how you can stay safe, visit covid19.com. Toodles!
During the time of this pandemic, hearts have become heavy, and most have come to live in fear of their lives. But let us take a moment to think about all the good things we've been able to do in isolation, and various times that we've been able to pay it forward. The first story I'd like to share is that of a chef named Massimo Bottura. As a fellow chef, it's only natural that you would want for your customers to enjoy your food. That's why he's gone and made this Instagram series called Quarantine Kitchen. Got a nice ring to it, doesn't it? He teaches all of his fans and followers how to create their favorite meals within this series. I've also seen videos of quarantined Italians coming together in their own homes to sing the national anthem and other popular songs in unanimity in hopes of lifting each other's spirits and winning at life. Meanwhile, in America, some of our favorite musicians have also come together within their own homes to create a song that would help ease the mood of being in isolation. The song that I'm talking about, which is locked in as one of my favorites, is none other than Ariana Grande and Justin Bieber's song Stuck With You, which has remained number 1 on the charts for quite some time. Oh, and let us not forget this time that a personal trainer in Spain got up on his rooftop in hopes of getting those in isolation off their butts and on their feet. He offered free classes to those and issued out none other than good vibes and high tides. He wanted to get everyone moving and grooving. Now, even though we are in this time of pandemic and widespread COVID-19, we as a people should continue to be kind to others, do what we can to create a great experience in quarantine, and keep your heads up. This quarantine will not last long if we stay inside, not only to keep ourselves well, but so that we can create a higher chance of these numbers going down. Please, continue to win, America. Thank you.
Now we hear from roving reporter Shalea Murray in South Carolina, outside of the South Carolina State Hospital, interviewing one of the true, unsung heroes of the pandemic and how they are faring because of the quarantine rules. Shalea, you are at a medical facility in South Carolina, correct?
Yes, Sade, that's correct. Good evening, everyone. I'm Shalea Murray. I'm here in South Carolina at the South Carolina State Hospital, and I'm speaking with Nurse Jessica James. Nurse James, how has this pandemic affected the nurse staff at South Carolina State Hospital?
Well, I am one of the 46 nurses on staff here at the State Hospital. When the quarantine was first installed by the governor, there were 22 nurses on call here in the hospital, and we weren't allowed to leave for the first 2 weeks of the stay-in-place order.
So you weren't allowed to leave the hospital for 2 weeks? How did you manage? What about your families?
My husband and I have 2 kids, ages 4 and 7, and I couldn't even go home to tell them what was going on. It's all been left to my husband to deal with. I talked to the kids on video conferences, and it broke my heart to have to hear them cry because they wanted me to tuck them into bed at night, and I couldn't be there.
That is so unfair. What other effects have you noticed?
The number of nurses on staff may be 46, but the 22 of us who were here when the quarantine was imposed had to deal with the influx of patients. Now we are overworked and very understaffed and risking being infected ourselves. Like, the people we are trying to help. And the nurses on the front line and the number of nurses coming down with the virus is growing. So even if we were able to go home, we can't because we don't even want to risk taking the virus back home and infecting our own families.
This is a story that is being ignored. The fate of the workers on the front lines. You are to be commended, Nurse James. You and your co-workers deserve to be honored because of your bravery and compassion with which you do your jobs. I want to thank you for all you do to keep everyone safe. So have you had a chance to go home finally?
Oh yes, I've gone home. It's been good to see my husband and my kids. It felt like we had been separated forever and that they had grown so much in my absence. But it has honestly only been 15 days. We've been blessed that none of us have gotten sick or infected, and I'm still able to come and do what I love, and that is help my patients.
We are all lucky to have you, all of you, on the front lines, sacrificing your time away from your families in order to keep Americans safe. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Shalea, especially for reporting about us and what we are trying to do.
Back to you, Sade.
Thank you, Shalea. Next, a report on the protests that have been done in response to the murder of Elijah McClain due to the brutal actions of police officers. Stay tuned after these public service announcements.
During this time, our problems, crisis have brought us together. Many quotes state that crisis leads to opportunity, emphasizing unity. We have overcome many things over this period of time and united for a common goal. Crisis leads to creativity. We have united to overcome a larger feat. To George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and families, we stand. To the mothers who shed numerous tears for their children shot dead, we push. To the countless other victims of racism, we fight. Many took their stand. What about you? Let's all stand for something or fall for everything.
My great-grandparents marched in the civil rights movement with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. My great-grandfather was beaten and bruised by the police. My great-grandmother was furious. This happened in 1954 through 1968. It is now currently 2020 and we are still facing the same problems my great-grandparents faced. We are facing racism and hatred. There are a lot of black people getting killed and there's nothing being done about it. I say enough is enough. This is how the Black Lives Matter movement started. Black Lives Matter is a movement to help stop racism and police brutality. It is also a global movement to get updates on special launches, network settings, programs, partnerships, and more. For more information on how to join these important movements, go to blacklivesmatter.com to register. Thank you. In loving memory of these honorable people.
And we're back. Growing protests from renewed outrage following the death of another young black man stopped by the police, Elijah McClain. Protesters took to the streets demanding more action be taken against the police involved in the incident. Here again is Shalea Murray reporting from Aurora, Colorado.
Tonight, protesters are chanting for change in charges. Hundreds marching in front of the police department in Aurora, Colorado, demanding justice for Elijah McClain, who died after police detained him last August. 3 officers were reassigned to non-enforcement duties, reassigned for their own safety. I've talked with one of the protesters, Ms. Richardson, about her involvement in the protests. Ms. Richardson, what is your opinion on the death of Elijah McClain?
How unfair! They killed a man who wasn't committing any crime, and they got a paid vacation? I think they should be fired from their jobs. They shouldn't be police officers because they abused their authority. They took a pledge to serve their community. But are they doing that? No. Instead, they are attacking people who are guilty of walking while black. It is a sin before God. This is supposed to be a free country, but I guess the saying is true. Freedom is not free.
Why are you protesting out here today? What do you expect to accomplish?
We are protesting to bring attention to the plight of black people, and especially the black men here in America. Black men are the new prey of sports these days, it seems, and we want it to be known that we will not stand by and watch our black brothers and sisters be killed unnecessarily by the very people who are being paid to protect us. The Bible says that evil happens when good men do nothing. We are not going to do nothing anymore.
Thank you, ma'am. An internal investigation has found the officers followed all proper protocols. The governor has started a new independent investigation. McClain was 23 years old, headed home from a neighborhood convenience store. After he left, he was walking and dancing, wearing a ski mask. Someone thought that was suspicious and called 911. The police stopped him and pinned him down. He was in a chokehold. During the struggle, EMTs injected him with a strong sedative, and he died 3 days later. Residents of Aurora are staging this protest to say that his death was unnecessary and someone should pay. Several artists are present here at the protest to lend their support to the cause. This is Jaden Wright, a rap artist who is scheduled to perform during the protest. Mr. Wright, what is your music about?
I've been writing for a few years now, telling the younger generation of the fact that black people have been unjustly treated for 400 years. I mean, something like this isn't anything new. We've been fighting and protesting for centuries, and it's been for the same things. We just want the freedom, peace, justice, and equality that we should have already got. Picture this. In 1619, our ancestors were taken from Africa. They were robbed of their names, languages, religions. They were robbed of their entire identity. The leaders were killed. The women were violated, and families were separated. Then in 1865, they told us we were free. But we still didn't have rights. I mean, we were so poor that we had no choice but to sharecrop, which basically kept us in servitude and slavery. Then in the 1960s, we banded together for justice and equal rights. Organizations like the Black Panther Party and the Nation of Islam emerged for the purpose of protecting our people. And quite frankly, we need that today. And think about today. From 2012 to 2020, there's, over the course of 8 years, there's been more killings of black people than we even care to mention. And the worst part about it is, there's been little to no justice dealt to the ones responsible. And that's what I try to display in my music every day.
Y'all know Black Lives Matter, right? They need to stop killing us. This one here is for everyone we lost. Police brutality. I lose my mind. Why did Breonna Taylor and Lamar have to die? Tell me why those of their families gotta cry. Y'all calling this self-defense, but it's homicide. Look me in my eyes, tell me exactly what you see. Do you see a threat or a man saying I can't breathe? No, I ain't breathing. Y'all ain't hearing me. My only master God, so no fear of me. Blue uniforms giving us death. That's security. Man, y'all calling this protection. This is tyranny. No, there ain't no trust in me. Y'all probably busting cuts on me. Now y'all ain't hushing me. If we got no justice, then there won't be peace. In these streets, face down, knee on my neck, you killing me. Can't you see? They treat us like animals going to war slaughter. Plus we looking at this, here's our brother George's daughter. It's a game of unity and we need more starters. Killing a young black man and we need more fathers. I'm just trying to educate, man, I'm a black rider. I just thought these cops aggress a black minor. So I'm thinking that it's time to help each other. So I can see sisters and I can see brothers. See, I'm just trying to teach lessons. I'm still breathing, so I'm trying to spread these blessings. We ain't simply here, so my grandma keeps stressing. Need to lay down our weapons, just a peace message. Let's quit all of the felonies, listen to my melody. The man that looks like me has never been my enemy. Let's keep each other straight, that's why it's called synergy. Black lives matter, let's keep that same energy.
Thank you, Jaden. I think that says it all. Back to you, Sade.
And that is it for the nightly national news this evening. I'm Sade Benjamin. I'll be back with you again tomorrow. Stay safe and good night.
And to my babies, as I call you, thank you. I'm about to cry. Thank you for all the work, all the time, all the effort that you put in. You always make our summers so much fun, so interesting, and so worthwhile. And this summer, with all of the trials and all of the obstacles that were in our way, you guys rose to the occasion and you did the thing. So I want to thank you, kids. You know I love you to death. And I'm going to miss you as the year goes on, but stay in touch. But thank you so much for this production. I think it was beautiful. I think it was awesome. And I couldn't have done it without you guys. We couldn't have done it without each other. We were a full of true ensemble. And I thank you for that. Take care. I love you. I love you, and I'll see you soon.